2, 1!
The Great Christmas Light Fight is on!
Ho, ho, ho!
Your Christmas lights inspire. Your Christmas lights delight. I am the voice behind the mic. I set the mood, I bring the hype. I'm behind the scenes. That's right. Why, yes, I'm the voice of the Great Christmas Light
The Great Christmas Light Fight is on!
It's turbo time. You can always count on me. The Librarian, your great Christmas light fight resource. I always wondered what it's like to be the voice of characters in TV shows and movies. I bet it's pretty cool. I mean, I have a face for radio, but I don't have a voice for radio. But, it might be a fun thing. And I hope to learn about it someday. But let me put Turbo Man, who's one of my favorite Christmas characters. Let me put him back on the shelf here. He can sit back and relax, and he can watch the show because, believe it or not, I actually do have somebody coming on today who knows a lot about voicing commercials and video games and TV shows and movies. And not only voicing them, but editing them and putting them together. He's like a dual threat. But he's really not a threat. He's a really friendly guy. He really likes Christmas. And I'm really excited to have him today here on the library. But before I tell you who it is, I got to do duty here. And the librarian is never in until he puts his plaque up right there next to Turbo Man. So I'm officially in, everybody. Welcome on a Wednesday night edition of The Librarian, your great Christmas light fight resource. And tonight I've got a really special guest, a fun guest, a totally different interview. And I think you're going to enjoy it. It's going to cover not only the great Christmas light fight, but a lot of things that probably have entertained you over the years, including movies, TVs, cartoons, video games, commercials. You might even recognize the voice. You might not recognize the face, but I know you probably definitely recognize the voice, especially if you watch the Great Christmas Light Fight. And that's because he's the one that hypes it up. He's the one that introduces it. And he is the one who makes it exciting until we turn it up even higher with our Christmas lights. So with no further ado, I want to bring my special guest on, the Brian Fairlee. So as I bring him on, please get your comments in. I see people are starting to join. We'll take those comments. If you have questions for Brian about the light fight or about anything related to Hollywood or how to get into voiceover or how to do editing, Brian can help you. And I want to get Brian on here. So give me a second to get the studio going here. And we'll change gears and bring on the Brian Fairlee, the voice of the Great Christmas Light Fight. So let's do this. Brian Fairlee, how are you, my friend?
I believe that's the Brian Fairlee.
The Brian Fairlee, capital T-H-E. Yes, forgive me for forgetting to do that, but
you are the librarian, so
I'm the librarian. At least I think I am. I don't know if you know the story behind that, but I've been involved with the light fight since 2013 as far as a fanboy, And then I started collecting all these stats and data about it. And a couple friends said to me, wow, you just might be the librarian of the Light Fight. So I said, why not? Why not? So I put a lot of data together. I've shared it with the Light Fight staff. And I've even had Brady Cannell and Felicia Aaron White and the casting team reach out to me with questions about things at Light Fight because they're not always sure. So I think it's fun. But glad to have you today. Especially on a Wednesday night. Thank you for joining us. Nice hat. Can I trade you? I'll trade you. I'll give you 2 of these for one of those hats.
Okay.
You have a coveted hat. Everybody knows that Brady and the staff gave those out to select people early in production, and they never made that merch available. So some of us are only dreaming. I know a few people that have them. So anyway, I digress.
Year after year, I would go in to record, and I would say, "Hey, do we have a crew jacket or something?" And they'd say, "No, no." But I do actually have another special hat that my kids made me this Christmas, and it's just to put me in my place, to make me feel humble. And they got it on Etsy, and it says, "Why, yes, I am the voice of the Great Christmas Light Fight."
And I love it. If you saw the nice special video I made for you to introduce you, you can see I played off of that after seeing that. So I think that's awesome. You could probably sell those too. That would be fun.
I actually have to put a disclaimer out there that I did not sing that song. I just will have you know that wasn't me.
No. So when I made the video, my wife goes, "Are you putting that off as like Brian singing?" I said, "No, this is me playing with AI, and I'm trying to honor Brian with a song that like really hypes up what he does."
You could not hear me, but I was howling. That was so over the top ridiculous. And I thought, oh no, what have I gotten myself into?
Well, if you like that, you're going to like a lot of the other videos I have to break the things up a little bit in between us talking today. And we're going to get a lot of comments from people joining in. People are slowly joining in. Get your comments and hit like, hit subscribe. And we'll kick things off here with Brian in a second. Brian, where are you tuning in from today? Where's home?
We're Woodland Hills, California, Los Angeles. We're in the Valley, and right now it's beautiful weather. It's a little cool, but we're here. I hear you have snow coming.
We do, and I'm East Coast Pennsylvania, but if you've been following the news, coming over from Texas across the whole South, they're about to get blasted by wizards in winter, if you will. So it's going to be we're a little jealous of where you are for your warmth and your weather. But
and that's the weather report. Now to sports.
Yeah, I mean, are you a Rams fan?
I kind of have to be, because the Rams literally set up camp in my neighborhood, and they're driving the house prices up, and they're developing this whole area. So yeah, they're my second favorite team. I know you're an Eagles fan, so I won't tell you who my favorite team is, but I am a California native. So
I'm guessing it's San Francisco.
Good guess.
Hey, for a fun fact, I believe you're also a USC guy, right?
I am, yeah.
So my wife's a Penn State graduate. However, I am a University of Oklahoma graduate. So I'm hoping Lincoln Riley's still helping you guys out. And I saw, Caleb Williams was doing some things too, at least, but it's not for your Rams. But hey.
I know. And that's sports.
That's sports. That's what we know about sports. But Brian, before I check in with the comments as they're coming in, why don't you tell us exactly who you are, a little bit about your background and what you do, and then we'll start tying it into the Great Christmas Light Fight and some of your other great endeavors that you've been involved in.
Well, let's see. I grew up wanting to make movies, so I went to USC Film School, and after that, I landed at an advertising agency, and I became a editor of movie trailers and TV campaigns and radio spots and that sort of thing. And I did that for about 30 plus years. And in the middle of that, I would direct people like Don LaFontaine would come in, and we would direct him to, Don's a famous voiceover guy that many people might know the name more than like what he looked like or anything like that. But very famous voiceover guy. And he was great. And so I learned from a lot of these top guys, and I started doing what we call scratch tracks. When we couldn't bring in the guys and pay them, they wanted to, to just slug in the narration. So I started doing that. And next thing you know, a lot of these talented, people in the industry were saying, you should consider doing this, or you can try to get an agent or something and pull a reel together and all of that. So it's not as simple as that. I'm kind of like giving you the Reader's Digest version, but I kind of did editing and voiceover for 15, 20 years until COVID happened, and then the editing sort of faltered, and I just became more of a voiceover person. And I don't do so much promo and movie stuff anymore. That's kind of out of fashion, for a lot of narration, and so occasionally. But we've branched into dubbing, we've branched into games, animation, dubbing of animation. There's all kinds of avenues in voiceover, as well as, of course, Great Christmas Light Fight and other shows that sometimes need announcers.
Well, it was really funny. So we were watching. You talked about voiceover for movies is maybe dead, at least in the format I'm used to growing up in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. It'd be fun to hear you maybe later do one of those boy meets girl, girl meets boy, they fall in love. That's so we see some old there was a newer movie, I don't remember what it was, on Netflix, and the promo was like one of those styles, and it just seems so dated. It just seems so dated.
Right. Well, if you go to my website, brianfairlee.com, you can see samples of at least, like, there's the last Peter Pan movie that Disney put out. I did the voiceover for the promos for that. So those are featured on the voiceover page of my website. And so you can hear that exact style,
Yeah. So that's very cool. I think that's appropriate. So I want to check in on the comments and introduce some people to you. Mm-hmm. We'll let a few more get in while they're coming in. Why don't I play a quick video that shows, bear with me a second, I got to get to my assets here. I need one of those Rodecasters. Anyway, it kind of shows you a little bit of what Brian does. It's a short video. Get your comments and watch this minute and 12-second video. Brian explaining some of the things that he offers on the voiceover side. We'll talk about his editing side a little later. Watch this and be right back.
Brian Fairlee here, veteran voice actor and part-time church drummer. I've spent decades reading all kinds of VO for movie campaigns.
Cool.
But did you know my voice has also been on commercials?
Choose yours. Get 0% APR for 75 months on select 2015 Fiat Abarth models.
Video games?
I am Lieutenant Colonel James T. Oberlin, United States Army. Actively, not formerly.
Podcasts?
How do you do, fellow mortals? What? You thought Bob just had some rando narrating his life story this whole time? Sheesh, how gullible of you.
Cartoons?
Spooky, spooky, endless sea. Dark and scary, deep, deep sea.
And even late-night comedy shows.
It's Mad TV.
The world of voiceover has endless opportunities, and I'm here for all of it.
It's a lifestyle.
So if you need a VO for whatever you're working on, contact me directly or get a hold of my agent.
Am I interested? I'm wildly interested.
Oh, if I'm really wildly interested.
I'm ready to go buy a Fiat. I swear I remember that commercial, but I'm sure there's a lot of other voiceover actors, but I recognize a lot of the stuff, the Mad TV and I'm not a video gamer. I'm not a gamer, but I know Fallout and
me neither.
Pretty cool.
I audition for video games every day, and that one was a particularly nice opportunity, and they were so sweet, and we had a lot of fun. And that's one of those properties that there's a big audience, and so I was starting to get notifications and people talking to me on Twitter and this and that, and that was kind of fun. So that was unusual for me. But the Mad TV was an interesting thing, because that was season 12, and they had never had what I call Don Pardo for poor man's Don Pardo is what I called myself. They had not had an announcer for the cast up to that point. They just used the song. And but that was the first year, season 12. And then I only did that season, and then they moved the production to another studio. They got new producers, they got a new announcer, and then I don't think it lasted much longer than 13 or 14 seasons. But that was really cool. And of course, the people who were on that cast have gone on to do incredible things.
Yeah, and you even you did other late night voiceover stuff. I think Kimmel and a few others.
Yeah, Kimmel. That's always a fun opportunity, and you get those every once in a while. I'll get them, and they're the same day. So like, you do the audition in the morning, and then you have to wait, like hang around until 5 o'clock when they actually tape, in case they need something, to pick up something. But
I definitely want to hear about that in a few minutes. We want to talk about like how does voiceover work and all. But before we do that, let's check in on these comments. I promised some of the folks here that are joining us that we would introduce them, say hi, and let's see who we got joining us. And you're going to find there's a lot of light fighters that join us throughout. And light fight hopeful. So one of the first ones is Mr. Brandon Reaver. He's out of Ohio. Has a giant walkthrough display. He's working with Light Fight Casting now, trying to get on season 14.
Excellent.
So glad to have you, Brandon.
I love all those cowboy hats there. Looks like
he has a great, even though he's in Ohio, you don't think farms and animals, at least I don't. I think Amish. and he's got a great rodeo theme, and hoping it gets showcased on Light Fight because you might be doing a voiceover for it.
Yeah, for sure. And I will tell you something about Light Fight is when I get directed, they'll say things. There'll be certain words and mannerisms that I will articulate as an announcer, and they'll say, no, make it a little more, casual, because we have a big fan base in the middle of the country, and it's like they want that more casual pronunciation. So that's a big part of that.
Yeah, it's like when I moved to Oklahoma, and grew up in the Northeast. They said, "Hey, can you slow down? You're too fast." And I'm like, I'm not from New York.
Yeah.
Who else we got joining us here? We got Steven Richburg joining us. Also, someone trying to get on Light Fight, does a great Pixel Light show. If you're a fan of the Pixel Light shows, you narrate a lot of those, Brian. Yeah. Good to have you, Steven. We have a season 12 participant on here, Patrick Mock, who also has a big walkthrough with he had Carter as a judge and kind of a rodeo theme. He started with a horse on there. So thanks for joining us, Patrick. I know you're taking stuff down in Texas. I got to go to Patrick's display this past Christmas. We did a trip across the country to Texas and Oklahoma and visited Light Fight friends.
I love
Check out the video on my page. Trying to beat the storms. What else do we got here?
That sounds like a fun road trip, honestly.
It is. It really was a fun road trip. It was. And I'm hoping to do another one because there's so many just in Texas, but we'll try to get it around and spread the love.
Yeah.
Speaking of Texas, one we did not make, a season 7 Light Fight participant. This is Ray from Northopolis, Weselaco. I don't know if you remember. I guess one of the questions I'll have for you, Brian, is like, do you actually watch the show? And I know you do, and I'm going to show how I know in a little bit. But he was on season 7, and him and his mom create these mannequins, like out of fabric and a lot of DIY materials, and they put up this big mannequin display, and they take it down every night. So really cool.
Night. What do you mean every night?
Every night. Seriously, they take down, because they're not weatherproof, they bring them in almost every night and put them back out. Go back and watch season 7. That's one of the harder episodes to find.
That's dedication.
We have another season 12 participant from last year, the Slankard family. They had Tanya as a judge. So you did voiceover work for their introduction. Nice. Robert and Lori on. They had a time machine that went back in time to the 60s in Oklahoma. So we also did their display over this past holiday. What else is she saying to me? Oh, they're a little late getting here. The other thing I've learned about the Slankards, they're not good with technology. And they know it. So that's good. It's good. Hey, another Light Fight hopeful joining from Tennessee. We got Aaron Grimes joining. He does a display called Lights on Trotters. Huge display, lots of lights. And I'm hoping he gets on for season 14.
Outstanding. A
lot of friends here reaching out to get on the show. Another great friend here, Monty. I've met Monty on another YouTube channel that talks about Christmas on Crestline. And Brian, you were watching one of my videos and were asking me, what are these minis you talk about?
Yeah.
Well, meetups. And I met Monty in person in Ohio at the Ohio Mini last summer. And we went and bought blow molds together from a Cracker Barrel. That's the kind of things you do on that trip. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm going to point this out again. He said he's sorry he missed the beginning. And he's going to ask how you got started in voiceover. Get that. But Monty, you got to go back and rewatch this or stay for the whole thing and watch the finale. I created a great video to kick things off. That shows Brian doing his voiceover work. So
outrageous.
Another Light Fight hopeful joining. We got the Humboldt family joining from Tennessee. He has a great display, a lot of DIY stuff. So thanks for joining.
I know Carter's a fan of DIY.
He is. And then we got another hopeful joining from Beaverton, Oregon. This is Colin Fitzgerald. So thanks for joining. And before I go back on and we skip back into wait, there's more. Jordan Maywald, winner from season 7 of the Great Christmas Light Fight, and originally the youngest winner of the Great Christmas Light Fight.
I do remember that. Remember that. He built the city.
No, that he's younger than that guy. You're thinking of in Massachusetts. Jordan, he does Make-A-Wish and had all these deer, and he'll forgive you for not remembering, because
sorry,
there are some newer, younger people. We went to Jordan's display this year too. It was his last year at his residential home. He's looking to do something commercial now.
You'll have to forgive me. It's been 74 episodes.
Yes, we'll talk about that. Ryan Rewhite joining us again. Hey, good to see you, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
All right. Get your comments in, hit like, hit subscribe, thumbs up if you have a question for Brian as we go. But we're going to move into the meat of the content here. And somebody had already asked it was Monty. I do want to kind of kick it off there. And, Brian introduced himself. He's a voice actor. He's an editor. He's the voice of the Great Christmas Light Fight. However, Brian, fun fact here, because the Librarian with his book of statistics, if you did not know this, Brian was not the original voice of the Light Fight. Season 1 had somebody else. And as a matter of fact, let me pop it up here. We had this guy, Joe Cipriano, who did season 1. And it's funny, on IMDb, they credit him for 3 episodes, but there were 5 episodes of Light Fight. So I have to go back and watch. I didn't have time. Maybe they didn't use his voiceover in part, or I think IMDb just was out of date. But what I thought was interesting here is, and we'll talk about it in a minute. Let me play this real quick. So everybody knows the Great Christmas Light Fight is on, and hopefully we'll get Brian to do that in a minute. But before I get to that in a minute, real quick, this is what it sounded like. I thought this phrase came up later, but it actually came up. In season 1, episode 1, and this is how Joe Cipriano did it. So let's hear this, and then we'll hear the difference, and you tell me which you prefer. But check this out.
Get ready to get decked, because the Great Christmas Light Fight is on.
That's how Joe did it, but yeah.
Listen, I love Joe. He's great. Joe's great.
He's great. He's a
superstar.
But it brings me up to my question, though. So how did you become the voice of the Great Christmas Light Fight from basically season 2 till current? Can you talk about that? And I know it didn't start with Light Fight, so why don't you share some knowledge on us?
It didn't. I want to remember that I did an audition for a show called The Great Halloween Fright Fight. And I booked that, and I came in to do that. And unlike season 2, which was last year, 2 years ago, they were 9 years apart, as you know, Mr. Librarian. But I did this Dracula kind of, the Great Chris, the whatever it is, it's the Great Halloween Fright Fight, that kind of thing. And so when we did it for the second season, Max wanted me to do it just like the Christmas voice. I don't know, he's got a thing about the branding of it and all of that. So then while I'm in the session for the Halloween one, they said, we've got this Christmas show we're doing, and we need to do the promos for the they call them super teases at the top of the show. They call them super teases. They're about a minute each that tells you what's going on. And that's really basically the only place where you can hear me, other than the casting card and the next ons, which are at the end of the episode or the second episode, however they arrange it. And so I said, yeah, I'd be interested in doing your Christmas show. And so I came in, I don't know, 1 or 2 weeks later, and we did season 2, and you were showing the ratings recently, and season 2 was the highest rated of all of them. So it was a really exciting time to get on board. And maybe that was sort of a reason for them to keep me around. But
yeah, I think what happened is, season 1 kicked off, and that's when YouTube was going viral. And then it's when a guy named Carson did Wizards and Winter to Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and that kicked off these light show things, and YouTube was starting to get all these big displays. And that's where Brady talked about, an ABC executive had the idea for Light Fight. So season 1 happened, and then people watched it and were hooked and were craving for it. Season 2 came on, and that's when the peak of the ratings was, and they were solid for a bunch of years. They're consistent now with what you would expect because of all the availability of streaming platforms that didn't exist back then.
Right.
But you were right at the peak. But it's interesting that they started with one voice and moved to another. And
not only that, but they, Sabrina Soto and Michael Maloney were the hosts for 1 and 2, I believe. I don't know. Did they go to Tanya and Carter at season 3?
They did. They went to so Sabrina and Michael. Sabrina got pregnant, is what I understand, and took leave. And she was friends with Tanya Nyack, and recommended Tanya for the show. Still don't know the full story on Michael Maloney, why they decided to change both judges. But regardless, Tanya came on in season 3, and ironically, I went as a fan. My son's baseball coach does a big display, and one day after the game, he goes, "Are you familiar with the Great Christmas Light Fight?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's." He goes, "You want to come to my filming?" I'm like, "What? You do a display? Didn't even know this." So I met Tanya in her very first season, first episode of Light Fight. So,
that's amazing.
Fun fact.
Yeah, the only time I've ever actually been in the same space as any of these hosts is Michael Maloney. That first season that I did, which was season 2, he'd shown up at the session for whatever reason. Maybe they needed to do a pickup of his voice or something. But that's the only time I've ever interacted with one of the hosts.
Yeah, and I would think you don't. That was going to be one of my questions. You forget to meet him, but I don't think I added. I made a nice little collage for you of some of your behind-the-scenes stuff here.
Oh, look at that!
And I did have the picture we were talking about, where you took a picture of Michael through the glass, but it's not in this collage.
Oh, how funny!
Fit it on, so you do have a picture of her out there. Like, ooh,
yeah. Every time I do the show, I think I'm never going to get to do this again, and so I'm always taking pictures. I don't know if they even want me to do that. They probably don't, but so I hope this doesn't get me in trouble. No, I'm kidding. That's all public.
No, I doubt it will. Whoops, I just went blank there. Matter of fact, it's interesting you say that, because even as a contestant on the show, or a contender as they call them, they don't like to use the word contestant. There's been a lot that don't realize when you're going through the filming process, you're allowed to take pictures, videos. Now you sign an NDA as part of your contract that you can post anything that will reveal the results, but especially with social media now, once they're done filming you and they say, "Hey, we're done," you can post pictures, hey, behind the scene. If you want to share who your judge and all was, you just can't share the results. So that's a fun tip kind of for you, I would think, unless there's some kind of thing you sign, hey, no pictures with the stars, go do it. There's many.
So when it comes to interacting with production, my part is done when the shows are locking and they're just about to go into mix, and so they bring me in to read these super teases, and then they mix the whole show once they've got that last final element. And they're still tweaking little things here and there, but when we were reading for season 13 last January, February, Max said to me, who's the producer, he said, "Well, you should come out to one of the Southern California ones. If we cast somebody in Southern California for season 14, I'll invite you out and we'll put an elf hat on you or something, and you can be in the crowd." I was like, "Yeah, that'd be fun."
That would be really cool. You should do it. It's fun to go to a filming and see how it works.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've been to a lot of other light fighters, or friends of light fighters have been to the filming. It's a neat experience. And obviously, if you get to do it yourself as a contender, it's really fun too.
Yeah.
So kind of going along those topics, though, you kind of mentioned it a little bit.
Yeah.
How does it work? What's this, all the film, I'm assuming all the filming's done, and Max, who is one of the executive producers from the beginning, who does most of the production stuff behind the scenes, whereas Brady did the directors and Felicia managed the contestants. It's how it used to be broken up. It's changed a little bit. What do they do after they know you're the talent? You did your auditions, you're the guy going to do the voice. And what's next? How does an episode work? Can you kind of walk us through some of that? I think it's kind of interesting.
I hope it's interesting, but I will tell you. I hope so. So back in the earlier years, we would all assemble at Levels Studio in Hollywood, and we'd all be in person. And it was Brady and Max and Jamie Schwimmer, and she's the post-production supervisor. And they would sit in the booth with the engineer, and I would be in the studio with the microphone, and there's a great big screen as you see in those photos. Maybe you can pull that back up again and show them the actual.
Absolutely.
And so we learned over the years, I was used to like running through the whole script, and then they would pick things and so forth. But Max got to this point where he wanted me to read each line 3 times in a row and no more. And then he would think about those 3 and decide with Jamie and Brady or whoever was involved which ones they wanted to try. And then they would have that marked by the engineer. And then we'd go down to the next line, and then the next line, and the next line. And then the engineer would cut it all together, and then they'd play it back. So we got to the point where it was just, they would show me the super tease with Max's voice in place of where I was going to be. And I'd get a sense for the pace of it and all that. And as you know, it's very punny. It's very over the top. It's, we have to hit it. Max is so funny. He always wants me to hit almost every single word. So every syllable, it gets quite exhausting after a while. So three takes at a time is about the most I can handle.
Well, I think what's really cool is you kind of hit on it, is every episode across all the episodes, and there've been a total of 79 episodes from 1 through 13. Every episode you customize for that episode with the pre-tease, a tagline. Like if they have a wreath with a big bow on it, you'll have something that's there. Or if they have a blown mold nativity, you have a little pun on words. So I think it's cool that it's customized. Who writes that? Is that Max or a writer, or do you come up with your own stuff?
Oh no, I would know. I would never. It's Max's job, and he's very involved in the editing, and so he's constantly trying to, as he's watching the shows and the contenders, as you call them, he's trying to find things, the trains and all aboard, or the up and away, and it's a balloon, whatever pun he can create. But of course, after 79 episodes, he runs out of ideas for how to make a pun for a train, or whatever it is.
Yeah, there's been some cool ones. As a matter of fact, for what it's worth, while we get more comments in and while people hit like and subscribe, why don't we show real quick what our tease looked like for our episode? So
okay, cool.
Maybe it'll bring back memories for you.
It might.
And, check this out. Be back in it's a 1 minute long.
It might go. Vocal nodes too.
Check this out. Be back in a minute.
3, 2, 1, blow it up! You better believe it's gonna be a Merry Christmas!
Look at Santa coming through the chimney!
With some utterly impressive displays!
Oh, look at the farm! This is adorable!
As 4 more families go out of their gourds!
I feel like a queen of the pumpkin patch here!
To win Judge Tanya Nyak's next $50,000 prize!
This is the wow moment!
So get your head on straight!
You can just take the heads off.
This is freaking me out!
Because the Great Christmas Light Fight,
this feels magical,
is on!
One of the coolest Christmas DIYs I've ever seen, and I mean it!
Wow.
One of my favorites.
My throat hurts just listening to that.
I know. So, yeah, that's what it's like. I mean, it's pretty cool. You guys script it to everybody's displays. I think it's fun. And I enjoy it. I kind of wish they had a little bit more of announcing in between episodes, maybe to kind of just, maybe not as long, but just to kind of keep playing on the pun. And they kind of did in season 1 and 2. The way the show was mixed, if you go back and watch it, it actually looks awkward a little bit because they jump between families instead of staying with them. But no, that was fun.
I always assumed that the little elf guy that's, pulling the graphics down, and that's my character. So like, I always wished that, I could say, now in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, or wherever, and then they zoom into the map. So instead they just kind of do it quietly.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah, I agree. You're the you're the elf there that doesn't have a voice. He just gets to plug in lights and have the transition. So you shared you did Fright Fight and Light Fight. You shared that Max comes up with the scripts or some writer and they put it together. But you, from a voice perspective, and you kind of hinted on it, but I still want to ask the question. So since you're the voice of the Halloween Fright Fight and Light Fight, how do you flip from spooky and mysterious to bright and merry so that it fits the mood?
How do I switch? Well, I mean, they're different times when you're doing it, but the Halloween one, like I said, the second season that aired just a few years ago, Max wanted me to do the same excited voice that I do for Christmas. So he made that decision, and we, the great Halloween Fright Fight, it got a little crazy. So now I love the Halloween version. I think that's a viable, show. And I know there's tons of people, you talk about your Christmas minis, but the Halloween decorating community is all over the place. The haunts, this is a big deal, and people spend a ton of money, especially here in Los Angeles. It's
well, there's a huge show coming up in March. It's called Trans World in St. Louis. I've gone 2 years in a row, probably not making it this year, but it's massive. And then there's one that comes in April to the Philadelphia area. It's massive. But go ahead. Sorry to interrupt.
No. I'm just saying, back in the day when I had my kids were young and we would go to Disneyland, there's a couple of warehouses on the way. And so we'd stop in, and the gigantic props of these, scary, there were deer heads on the wall, and they all came to life and were, it was insane. But I don't know. It's just, I think the Halloween one is a missed opportunity for ABC or whoever. It can be picked up by anybody, but the pitches for those, they pitched year after year after year, and finally they decided to do it. But they usually have, I think the excuse is that they have programming in October that is first run type programming, and they just don't have the airtime for it.
Yeah, that's been fairly consistent, that, you got all your dramas and sitcoms that are kicking off in October. Then you got all the World Series and football and college football. That it's been tough. But no, it's pretty cool. But you kind of said before that you originally had a spooky voice for Fright Fight, and then Max said, "Now let's keep it kind of more in the flavor of
family friendly." They don't want to scare anybody off, I guess. Because that show, that first one actually was scary at times. The hosts were terrified.
I love the red car. Matter of fact, I have a red car episode. If you ever find time that you need to fill, go back and look for my red car episode. I've got to become friends with the person that delivered our trophy. And I have a really cool red car episode. But I love on Fright Fight the black hearse and the skeleton. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
I forgot about that.
So you said you mainly went into a place called Level Studio. They do a lot of production stuff for all things. But you also have a home studio, and I think it's right behind you, actually.
I do.
What's it take? Have you done some of the Light Fight stuff in your home studio? And like, if I wanted to get into doing voiceover, is it something I should have? And what should I look for?
Gosh, they're pretty persnickety about going into the studio for the consistency of a studio, environment. This is just a little, enclosed casket type box. It has, some padding and so forth, and it's kind of quiet. It's called a vocal booth, so it has an intended purpose. But what was the question again? I'm so sorry.
just
okay.
Is there anything different that happens in a home studio than a professional one, outside of them having more equipment, or can you still get?
The industry was very, it was very go to the studio, go to Hollywood and record stuff, and still, video games and things like that. They want you to do that dub because they have certain, connectivity things that they do overseas and so forth. But I can do anything from this booth. I have software that allows me to record over the internet to any studio anywhere, and it's broadcast quality. So for instance, we're doing commercials for Stranger Things, The First Shadow, which is a Broadway show. It's a play about the origin story of Henry Creel. And so when I get on with them, they're in New York, and I just read it from my bedroom at 8 o'clock in the morning or whatever. and they record, and I just walk in the booth and talk. I mean, that's kind of the way the job used to be, but now you have to kind of be an engineer. You have to know how to use software. You've got to, it's a little more intensive. So to get started, you need all of this kind of in place, and there's just no guarantee. I mean, I did 1,000 auditions in 2025, and I booked about 50 things. So that's a 5% return. So that means that there's 95% rejection, even for someone who's done this for this many years. So it's not something you go into expecting to just hit it out of the ballpark. Some people might do that. I was marching on the strike, the SAG strike, with a gentleman who had just come out to LA to try his luck and I thought, oh, good luck, young kid. And now he's got 2 or 3 anime shows, and it's like he's already going to conventions and getting paid for his autograph.
It's almost like being an actor or actress. You have to try out for these things and be open to, hey, I'm not going to get them all. It's even though my voice sounds great, it's still got to try out for them and audition.
For sure. I mean, remember, I started when Don and all of these big, gigantic stars of voiceover were sort of like the dominant forces in this industry. And I've just had to find my way. And of course, I had the advantage of working for a company that edited promos, and then my scratch tracks would be in front of people making decisions about who would be on the final piece. So once I started getting those finishes, I got what they call Taft-Hartley into the union, and then it just went on from there. But it was always kind of a hobby because I was never super successful at it. But I've done like 700 jobs. I've done 700 projects. I've been on 700 things. And who's counting?
Well,
right?
You just mentioned so you don't. And it leads me into kind of a next topic, which is you're not just a voice for TVs, movies, commercial, video games. You actually did do editing or still do editing, or you do both.
Right.
Can you talk about that?
Yeah. I mean, I went to film school at USC and graduated in 89, 90 and started working for these agencies that cut trailers and TV spots. And so one of the first movies I cut was a Brian Bosworth. He was a football player, and it was, I forget the name, Stone Cold. Stone Cold was the name of the movie. And I was all excited because I was this is just dating me terribly, but I was a big Doobie Brothers fan. You can see Michael McDonald back there on the wall. My son met him last year. He was doing a $1 Million Quartet in Santa Barbara. And
I like Michael McDonald.
Oh my gosh. He's like, supports the arts in Santa Barbara, and he came to watch the show and talk to the kids who were doing the show. And I said, oh, I've got this old concert picture I've got to find that I had since I was a teenager, and I have him sign it. So I gave it to my son, and he signed it for me, so it's up on my wall. But anyway, I lost track of what we were talking about.
We were talking about how you got into editing and so forth.
Oh.
But by the way, if you like Michael McDonald or don't know who he is, go look up the term yacht rock, and there's some documentaries too about yacht rock. Again. So they're fun. They're good lounge type music. I don't know. Yacht music.
So that was, I started editing, doing that, and I edited the trailer for Rudy. I edited the trailer.
One of my favorite movies.
For Bring It On, which was the first of all those iterations of it. So those were kind of my bigger titles, and then everything else, all the other thousands of things that I did, or hundreds of things, were movies you probably never heard of. But recently, I've done some for your consideration spots for Blue Moon, which is a Sony Classics movie, just came out. We did Nuremberg, some stuff for Nuremberg. This is all like Academy bait sort of movies, but yeah, that's the editing stuff. And then as I was coming up, I would do the scratch tracks and things. So that's how the voiceover sort of took off. So I was doing it sort of side by side, which was stressful, a
lot of work.
Yeah. And then COVID came and kind of eliminated most of the editing as a day job. So everything's freelance now. So like I hang around the booth and audition all day. I call myself a professional auditioner more than a professional voiceover artist, because like I said, 95% of it is you just never hear. And sometimes, that 5% is enough.
No, I've checked out your website. By the way, if you want to learn more about Brian, go to his website, brianfairlee.com, and you can see he has some great videos there. He has one long video I was going to play that shows all of his work, but I do have a shorter one I'm going to play. And while I play it, so you can see what Brian does on the editing side and some of the things of the titles that he's worked on, get your comments in. We'll check in with you guys, comments, get your questions you want to ask Brian. And then we're going to get into more meat about Light Fight, because I got some other fun things I want to show. But yeah, check out brianfairlee.com, and then Brian can rest those pipes. I'm going to ask you to do a live famous quote if you can later, if you're up for it. But until then, let's show you what Brian does on the editing side and get your comments in, and we'll check back in 1 minute.
Hi, Brian Fairlee here, veteran voice actor and self-appointed president of the Fairlee Twins fan club. Sisters. They're like a double delight. That's genius. For over 3 decades, my day job was editing all kinds of movie ad campaigns. But the most exciting thing was when I got to narrate my own cuts. Kind of like my own double delight.
Oh, that puppet looks so alive. Well, that's more than I can say for you.
Take a look.
20th Century Fox presents the greatest Simpsons family adventure of all time. Benji. He gets a new home only on Netflix. Everyone is joining the Pony Party.
Easy as pie.
Oh, I love pie. In 3 days, America's favorite idols
I'm so high.
are going down. August, Osage County. Rated R. In theaters everywhere Christmas Day. And now, the Mega Bowl main event. Moon versus Dewey.
I'm coming with Crazy Fist.
Can you keep a secret?
The most amazing thing happened. I've got a sister.
See the #1 animated movie in America in theaters before it's gone. He lies, he cheats, he steals.
You are sentenced to 25 years.
But he does it all for love.
My name is Stephen Russell. Nice to meet you. My name is Philip Morris.
So if you like what you see and hear, give me a shot to edit your next project, or even voice your next project, or maybe edit and voice your project. Visit my website or contact my agent for more information.
Double threat, man. Cool stuff. I've seen every movie on there, by the way, that you showed in that little clip of just over the 700 plus movies that you've worked on. So
yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, no, it's great fun when you get a chance to voice something and then it finishes and you get the double success there. But
it's really cool.
Yeah, I always to try. There are still opportunities in movie promos, but it's only taken by just a handful of people. And I always say in my trying to pump myself up, say I can say rated R like the best of them.
Is there any and maybe it's not a movie, but an outside of Light Fight, because that's my favorite. Is there any one particular movie or project that was your absolute favorite?
Oh my goodness. Well, I did this podcast called Black Friday, and at first I was cast as this character named Daryl, and Daryl was a severed head, and he was kind of sassy, and they talked about Bruce Campbell and Evil Dead and all of this, and so and then as it got closer to them wanting to record it, they said, well, we want to know if Brian is willing to be the narrator as well as Daryl. And they go, but it's a significantly larger commitment. And I got nervous because at the time I was editing at a company and I had to be there, 10 hours a day. And I thought, well, when am I going to find time to do this? And so I wanted to do it, but I didn't know what I was getting myself into, which is kind of typical for every time I wake up in the morning. And so I got the script and I was like, yeah, this is a lot. And they decided to record me they were on the East Coast, and I recorded 6 a.m. my time till about 10. And then I just went in a little late on the day. And I think I don't know how many days we did it. But what was interesting was I had no idea who was in the cast. So I only read my lines, and I was having scenes with people. So like Fred Greenberg or something was the guy directing me, and he was producing the whole thing. He was doing all the sound design and everything. And Greenblatt, I think is his name, and he's with Realm, is a podcast company. So they never told me who the other actors were, and it turns out when it came out, I was doing scenes opposite Fred Armisen, of all people, from Saturday Night Live, and I thought, this is crazy, because you hear us talking to each other, and yet none of us were talking to each other.
It's so funny you say that. I forget what movie we were watching this weekend, and you could just tell, we're like, there's no way they're in the same room. You could tell they were just put together afterwards, but it was so seamless, but you kind of got the feeling. So it's interesting.
It probably would have been a little better had we been interacting in real time, because we could have played off each other's energy. And I think what's peculiar about this is this is the first long form acting thing I'd ever done. And, Fred's Fred, and he's great. And I feel like either I was trying too hard or, overact something. There's something a little bit like different about the two performances. They don't feel like they're in the same universe, but people enjoyed it.
I'm gonna have to go back and check it out and see.
Black
see I think you probably did a smash up job.
There's another Black Friday podcast, not to get confused with. I don't know if it's sports or something else, but this one is about. It's Realm is the maker, and it's Fred Armisen's. He's like considered the name attached to it. He also produced it, but I'm in every episode. It's 10 episodes. It's totally crazy.
I'll make sure I check it out, just like I want to check out some comments right now. So keep the comments coming in. We got people that want to share some stuff and share some love with you. Brian, by the way, Brian, you spell it the right way, just like I do, with an I. Brian with an I.
Oh, we don't want to offend any Y's out there.
But speaking of friends joining us and Light Fight friends, this is Brandon Brown from the Brown family, Candyland Christmas. So that intro video I made of you where it looks like you're walking on the Candyland board game, this is his display.
Excellent.
And he won the Light Fight trophy with Tanya as a judge.
I can see that.
Then we have a season 13 contender that was just on. This is Bill Riera from Santa's Castle. He had a light show display with the red roof. Matter of fact, you can see, this is a perfect time, and then I'll get back to the comments. Brian, one of the questions I had, this is just sparking off the cuff here because it's unscripted, is you actually watch The Great Christmas Light Fight, or do you do the voice and then move on and you don't watch it? And I know the answer to that, but what's your answer to that?
Oh, you do know the answer.
You watch The Great Christmas Light Fight?
I try to watch it. I try to watch as many as I can. And these days, I'm going off on a tangent, which is something I'm used to doing, but our house was burglarized recently. And so what part of the security for the house now is I turn a television on in one of the dark bedrooms, and I turn it to Hulu and make it do season 8 and 9 and 13, because those are the only 3 that are.
They're the only ones that are on. But the reason I brought it up is I know you watch it, and because the gentleman that asked that I just introduced you to was on last season, I actually have proof you watched his episode. Watch this real quick. I'll be back, and we'll get back to the rest of the comments. Okay. But check this out. Fairlee, I call this Fairlee Watches Light Fight.
Okay.
Because the Great Christmas Light Fight is on!
That's probably pretty cool, so right.
So that was season 13, episode 3, and it was the Paul family, the Hack family, who won out of New Jersey, not far, and then the Riera family, Bill, who just made the comment about saying hi.
That's great.
He was the one with the red roof you saw where you did the your famous tagline.
Oh my goodness, yeah! I'm telling you, it's fun to watch, and when I can, But you're right. You're talking about it in another broadcast, but it's on kind of late, so yeah, it's hard.
So that was fun. I got a lot of other comments here. Some cool people joining. Let me see what else we got here. We got Troy from the North Pole Village. You were not the first comment today, Troy, but Troy's usually known for getting his first comment in like before everybody. And Troy, he says it's minus 45 and 50 mile per wind gusts. He's sending them from the North Pole Village to Texas, Oklahoma, and then eventually here on the East Coast. Thanks for joining, Troy.
And Troy's still taking his decorations down too, right? I think
they're probably frozen in. Who knows? Here's a fun one. Hasn't been on the show in a while, but they are on my red car episode that I mentioned, Brian. This is Gina Fuska, and her dad owned the red 68 Pontiac GTO that delivered our Light Fight trophy, which
that's amazing.
Which I brought it right here.
Oh, yes.
Yes. There you go.
Jealous.
So we'll show that again later.
One of these days I'll get a photo with one of those.
But they're great people. I'm telling you, go check out the red car episode. I got a lot of cool videos in it.
Okay.
Here we got some people asking questions. This is Brandon again from Ohio. Do you help voices for kids that have been on Light Fight if they speak low or have trouble talking? I guess he's asking if you do any consulting work to help people with voice. Clarify if you want, Brandon. But do you do any of that? Do you have a side job where you help people with voice lessons or anything like that? I'm guessing not.
I do get people asking how to get into the voiceover business, which, you know, I got asked so often that I created a draft of, you know, kind of how it happened for me, but it isn't how it happens for everybody. And I don't teach anything, but if anyone asks me, you know, for that kind of information or advice, I'm always open to that.
And you saw Brian's website, brianfairlee.com. If he feels he can help you out, maybe he'll reply to you. He replied to me. That's how this interview came together. Messenger, email. I'm like, this guy's going to think I'm nuts, asking him for an interview, and here we are. Here we are.
Yeah, I don't get a lot of attention, so.
Either do I. Although Gina's chiming back in that I'm turning into the great Christmas Light Fight guru, and maybe they'll hire me. I interviewed Felicia Aaron White, the main producer, the last couple of years, and been with the show for a long time. I interviewed her. Go watch that interview. I asked her, how could I get a job? And she said, just keep doing what you're doing.
Wow.
Maybe that's not what I want to hear. She goes, this is spreading the love. What else we got?
Technical consultant.
Hey, we hear about spreading the love. We talked about the ratings, like you talked about. We're trying to get it out there. And I'm having more fun meeting people who have been on the show or that make the show happen.
Of course.
Here's another fun one. Kind of changing gears. This is Nick. Nick's my friend who lives in Pocono, Pennsylvania area. About 3 hours from me, does a huge display. Nick was actually on HGTV this past year for a show called Hoarding for the Holidays.
Oh,
so
okay.
if you have HGTV, different spin, has a huge, massive display. Go check it out. But he's asking, do you do cartoons? And we know you did the voiceover for the Simpsons movie trailer, but you also did in your promo, it was some kind of, I don't know what the cartoon was, but it had sharks. Do you do any other like actual voice of cartoon characters?
Well, I did. You what was your little figure that you have? Ultraman, or what was he behind you?
Oh, Turbo Man right here.
Turbo Man. I have Magnamon, which is a Digimon character, and a friend of mine was doing the dubbing, the English dub, and so he invited me to come do the voice for Magnamon years ago. So that's something that's on my IMDb page. But most of the stuff I've done just doesn't get credit. So like I did a Baby Shark series on YouTube where I played Daddy Shark. I can't say that I'm Daddy Shark because that's Ping Pong doesn't like when you do that. So I say I did the voice of Daddy Shark.
I thought that's what it was in your little promo clip, the little sharks. I was like, I wonder if that's Baby Shark.
Yes, it was Baby Shark. I had to sing. It was very sweet. I did that during COVID. That was kind of crazy. But I am.
You tired of the song?
I actually had to sing it. Yeah, isn't that something? But I did on my IMDb page. I did recently this year something called Dragon Heart, which was an anime dub, and that was in theaters. I guess I didn't see it, but I played 4.
Anime's big. Anime is really big right now.
Yeah, I played 4 different characters, and it was really interesting because I've done a lot of dubbing in the last 3 years, and the director really wanted the words to be in the mouth, which is really the struggle of dubbing. And so we worked really hard to get that. And sometimes they have to rewrite the English words to fit the foreign language, and
because the mouth doesn't match up like the old
because whatever they
karate movie.
Well, yeah, or like it's just too many syllables for the amount of times the animation's opening and closing its mouth. So that we experienced that a lot in dubbing, especially. But I did get to do an original character recently for a movie that's in European release, and I have not seen it yet. It has not been released in America yet, but that's about as much as I can say about that project. But that was a lot of fun to do something.
Well, we'll look for it. I'm sure when you're allowed to say, we can see it on your website and your
credits. And then I don't know if you can call, the Fallout 76 character animation, but it kind of is, right? It's a video
game stuff.
And that was also original. And so they animated the avatar character of Lieutenant Colonel James T. Oberlin was who I played. And so they took whatever their favorite takes were, and then they animated him to kind of say that. But that's
really cool. Maybe I'll ask my daughter who games or my son, hey, if you play this game. But again, Bill from season 13 says he didn't realize you did so many things, and he says he recognizes your voice. So
I've heard that out in public, and I always say, oh, come on.
Well, it's funny you asked that, because that is one of my questions here. It says, have you ever been recognized in public just by the sound of your voice, maybe while ordering a peppermint mocha or a candy cane martini?
Yeah, but I don't know how. It's very strange.
So funny story, Brian. So we aired in 2023, and then we went on vacation not far after Christmas, and we were in Philadelphia International Airport going through security, and somebody heard my voice and literally I had my hat on too, but she said, "Hey, weren't you just on that Christmas light fight show?" And I said, "We were. How did you know that?" And she goes, "I just recognize your voice."
Wow.
So maybe I could be a voice actor. There you go.
Absolutely. Distinctive.
Speaking of light fight friends, we got another past light fighter joining us, Chris Steer. He was on season 10 of Light Fight. Also had Tanya as a judge out of New York. And again, I know you don't probably see every episode, but he kind of had, the little Tykes playhouses that, like, if you have grandkids or kids, the little plastic houses that you have in your backyard, and they little forts. He has a bunch of those that he's created into a Dickens village.
I saw it.
Themed them all out. So that's one of the things he does. But thanks for joining, Chris. We got Devin joining us. Devin is a friend of the lighting community up in the Northeast area, New England area, and he does a big community display. So he's been trying to get on Light Fight, but his challenge is it's not on his private residence and it's not quite a heavyweight. So it makes it tough by the rules. By the way, is there any difference voicing the heavyweights versus the individual families? Do you like the scripts? Maybe better is not the right word, but do you find one more interesting to do than the other, or are they about the same?
I would use the word more challenging. They just, when they direct me, they really want to emphasize every single syllable, like I said, every single word. So when it's the heavyweight competition, it's like they want me to hit every syllable, and it's exhausting because I only have so much air in my lungs.
By the way, since season 13 just aired, if you remember, there were 3 heavyweights. There was Nauticus, which was the battleship.
Yeah.
There was the Lantern Place out in Imaginarium, I believe it's called, in California. And then, of course, there was the River of Lights in the Houston, Texas area.
Yeah.
If you're okay to pick up one of your babies out of there, which one did you like?
Well, I was hoping that the silk thing would win so that I could then go out to that thing and pose with the trophy. but the boat was just, it was so unique. And
they were all really good this year. The thing I've said about heavyweights, I like them, but the thing I dislike about heavyweights is they already have a lot of attention. They're making money. They're commercial venues. Mm-hmm. To me, that's less individual families that missed a chance to get on the show, but I understand why they do it, to have variety and make exposure.
Yeah, and I think it's good TV. I mean, it's inspiring to home, people who want bigger and bigger and bigger. But yeah, it's always amazing to see displays that just sprawl over acres. It's even the ones in the regular family episodes.
I guess the good thing too is they get a lot of traffic, if you will, people that go there to visit them. So hopefully that translates to viewership as well. Maybe that's why they do. What else do we got here? Nick saying it's funny the random people who ask you things in public. I don't know if he's referred to about. Oh yeah, like who would come up to you and say, "Were you on that TV show?"
Yeah, I don't get that, but I say there's people like, your voice sounds so familiar. Where do I know you from? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I yelled at you in traffic. I don't know.
Hey, folks, get your comments and questions in. We're going to keep going. I told Brian we can wrap it up when he's ready, but I got a couple more fun videos. And while you get more comments, and I think this is a good break, here's what I think is fun. So we already know Brian watches Light Fight because I showed the video. We already know he's the voice of Light Fight, and I'm still going to ask him to do it live, say it.
Gosh.
And maybe I'm going to ask him, Brian. Now I might have to pay you for this, though. Like, I'm the librarian. I'm your great Christmas Light Fight resource. So I was joking, like, how would you do that? Like, the librarian, your great Christmas Light Fight resource is on. It just doesn't sound right. You got to come up with a new line, but
whatever you want
to hear that.
Just write me some introductory lines. We'll do it in the booth. You'll listen to them. You'll tweak it. We'll do it again.
That'd be fun. You saw I play around, I'm having some fun. But the reason I bring it up is while you're getting more comments and questions for Brian had fun with Light Fight too, and he shared a video with me, and it's out on his social pages. But I want you to watch it because it's Light Fight related, and maybe I'll explain what it is, Brian. Then you can dive into it before I play it. But Brian made a meme video, a spoof video, where he went out and he said, "Hey, I'm the voice of the Great Christmas Light Fight. What would it be like if I overlaid my voice and some of the scenes from different seasons over the lights in my neighborhood?" Right. And it's pretty funny. I want to play it, but before I play it, Brian, can you talk about how this video came about and why you like it?
I have a friend who insists that I do TikTok videos, and I did about 4 of them last year, and then I ran out of ideas. This was the one that I really wanted to do, which was to take an intro of one of the episodes. Now, Mr. Librarian, you should be able to pinpoint exactly which episode this is because it's the audio from the opening of one of the episodes. And when
it's funny you say that because I do know the Sablick family's in there when you do Kermit the Frog. Then there's the guy who's blind, but I couldn't remember if they were all in the same season. I didn't get a chance to go. I did want to go back and figure out which, but I know a couple of them.
Because I'm kind of bad with technology too. So I tried to screen record an opening that was on YouTube or whatever, and it just came out black, right? Because it's a property. So just filmed it on my phone or something, or filmed it on my iPad off the phone, and then I took I put it into my editing program, and then I just went out into the neighborhoods around my house because the decorations are a little less than. And when I'm driving around at Christmas time, I love to do the countdown if I see a particularly lame. And I know this is kind of mean.
No, but I think it's fun.
It's a coping mechanism because I
think it's cool because I want to play this one while we get some more comments in, and it'll give us a voice break to get our voice refreshed for when you do your live the Great Christmas Light Fight on is. But and then I got one that's going to take you back in time, a long time, just to show how I think you're a Christmas guy at heart and why you're perfect for Light Fight. But before that, folks, get your comments in, hit like, hit subscribe, ask Brian more questions, go look for his website maybe while we're watching the video. But check this. This is a fun meme of Brian making some fun of his neighborhood and Light Fight.
But it's done with, heart. So.
Oh, it is. No, it's totally awesome. But see if you can recognize when he voices over some spots, if you know what episode or what family that was, because I do know a few of them offhand. But let me find it here.
Max told me it was several seasons ago. So some of your friends from season.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, when I'll give away with the Kermit the Frog one, that's the Sablick family out of Florida. We're friends with them. But here, check it out. We'll be back in.
What year did they do it?
That was season 9.
Okay.
So if you're saying everything season 9, that'll make my job easier to go back and figure out which ones they are. But check this out. It's 2 minutes and 24 seconds. Get your comments and questions, and then we'll get to the second over the hump here on the video. Since it is hump day, it's Wednesday. Be back in 2 minutes and 24 seconds. Check this out. It's really fun.
Hi, Brian Fairlee here, veteran voice actor and the announcer of the Great Christmas Light Fight.
The displays on the show are truly extraordinary, and the winning families deserve every penny of that prize money. Season 12 just aired on ABC, and the displays were more epic than ever. So I thought it would be fun to show you how my neighborhood's decorations might look edited into the opening of the show. Take a look.
This week on a special neighborhood episode of the Great Christmas Light Fight.
3, 2, 1, light it up!
The nightmare wait is over.
I love this.
A new season is racing in.
You guys are good drivers. I'm impressed.
As the nation's most creative Christmas fanatics
I can hardly tell you apart.
put the pedal to the meadow.
I feel like I'm in the middle of a real meadow.
In America's favorite holiday competition.
Why do I have goosebumps right now? I'm so excited.
And this year, the stakes are even higher.
This is so tall.
As families from the same state face off.
What is that?
It catches people's attention.
To claim the title of a state champion.
This is how we do it in Florida.
It all starts with Christmas in California.
I call it the tree huggers.
I love it.
Yes.
And one incredible contestant you won't want to miss.
I'm legally blind.
Disclaimer, Brian Fairlee is not legally blind, but recently had cataract and glaucoma surgery.
As Judge Carter Osterhouse awards this season's first $50,000 prize.
This is the most creative thing I've ever seen.
So get ready for some squeaky clean family fun.
Is that a tub on your roof?
Because an all-new season of the Great Christmas Light Fight
I love these colors.
is on.
If I can bring a smile to a child's face, that's Christmas.
Well, even though my neighborhood may not be ready for prime time, don't let that dampen your holiday spirit. Keep up the imaginative and smile-inducing work, America, and maybe we'll see you on the opening for real. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Cheers to a fun video, Brian. But I did recognize a lot of those families, but I just didn't put two and two together. They were all on season 9.
Yeah. So yeah, I just overlaid the real displays that, the real stuff that you guys do with the people around my house. And a good question would be, do you, Brian Fairlee, decorate for Christmas? Well, I did when my kids were little, but now my wife won't let me on the roof because I'm 60 years old. So she doesn't want me climbing around.
Ooh, you just led into the next video I want to play. But before I do it, I have some comments on your video too. So first, some fun facts, some fun librarian facts. Actually, I have 2 videos I want to play. But the first one is I like how you include it. Every week when you do your super tease or the main intro, the minute-long one, you always have that line of who's going to win the $50,000 in the coveted Light Fight trophy. A fun fact for our episode, and I'll pop this up here. In season 11, all season long, our trophy, you can see that's Bry right there, or Brian, B-R-Y. He was one of our cameramen. He is filming our trophy, the one I just showed you here. And all year long on every promo you did, they used our clip right here.
Oh.
So that was pretty cool to see our trophy all year long. So even though we only were on one episode, it was on all year long. We got to see that. And
outstanding.
You actually voiced that over. Matter of fact, here, did I save it right here? I got to check on something here because I think I uploaded a sound file. Here it is right here.
Compete for the coveted Light Fight trophy and $50,000 prize.
Oh my God.
We got to hear that all year long. So that was cool. So that was one fun fact. The other fun fact was, what was the other fun fact? I'm drawing a blank now too, Brian. Oh, the other fun thing was in the beginning, you used one of your studio voiceovers, and it's not necessarily a fun fact, but it's fun to see you incorporate your backside video. Because one of my questions earlier is like, what's a session look like? Mm-hmm. And before I get to some of the comments, I think it's a good time to play this. We actually have footage where I put together you doing a backside recording from your studio or from Level Studio. Okay. And then for the Neighborhoods episode, if you remember that.
Yeah, that was it.
And then I popped up the neighborhood so I can show what it kind of looked like. So let me play that real quick, if you don't mind. And then we'll get back to these comments because I think it's kind of cool to see how that went. So Brian's, let's find your studio session. Here it is. Watch this real quick so you can see Brian recording for the neighborhoods from season 3, episode 3, 2016.
Oh, wow.
Who that was, and what it looked like on air. Just watch this real quick, and I'll get back to the comments. I know I'm changing things up here, but again, this is not a scripted show. So check this out. I'll be back in a second.
Next week on a special neighborhood episode of the Great Christmas Light Fight, it's block versus block, and Christmas like you've never seen. Plus, a heartwarming second hour that will make your spirits soar. And I got 10,000 steps.
Yeah!
Marching around, doing my thing. Monday on a special television event.
Are we ready to win the Great Christmas Light Fight?
The Great Christmas Light Fight goes where it's never gone before.
That is crazy!
It's not house versus house. It's neighborhood versus neighborhood.
Bam! All of these lights go on. With 13 synchronized houses, we're about to blow some minds. Yeah, baby!
With entire blocks battling it out to be crowned the kings of Candy Cane Lane.
This is the Super Bowl of Christmas lighting.
We're the best! You know we got the best light show in the nation.
So gather around your neighbors.
We're gonna win it.
Because the Great Christmas Light Fight Neighborhood Special is on!
Wow,
So
the
that
elves are different.
That was cool. Yeah, that's where the old elf. So that's where I think they use a company called Fish Eggs that does the graphics, and they changed the elf after I forget what season, but that's the old elf. But a couple of things there. One is it was cool to see your backside work. By the way, I'm far off on my 10,000 steps because it's so close. I'm only at like 6,000. But it was cool to see that. And then the other fun fact there is that's the one and only neighborhoods episode they ever did. It's the one and only time they've ever gone to Hawaii. By the way, there's still 13 states they have not been to, Brian. We're trying to get them to the states. I've told Felicia that she got to get to these states. And then the other fun thing is, even though my episode in particular is my favorite episode for obvious reasons, I've never seen a more epic trophy ceremony than when Christmas on Comstock won the Neighborhoods episode, because they had, instead of Santa driving the car, Santa actually sat in the back seat and an elf drove the car. So they had some production value there. And he talked to Carter, who was the judge for that episode. And then they delivered 13 trophies and handed it out. So you saw 13 light fight trophies at once. I showed it at the end of the video there. How cool is that?
That's amazing.
So anyway, I thought that was fun. Do you remember doing that episode? That was a long time ago.
It was a long time. I mean, I remember because I see the video and I know that Brady was filming me on his phone and he was having a good time. Like he was posting those and, but I need to point out that ABC does promos for the show, and in the early years, I think they would pull things of mine and use my voice. But you know, in the last 7-8 years, they or 5 years, they get someone else to sound like me for the promos. Now, I've said many times to my agents, I'm like, you could let them know, I'd be happy to do it. But yeah, so that's kind of, don't get confused when you hear somebody promoting the show on ABC that it's, you know, coming up next or whatever. That's not me.
That's something different. Yeah. But the proof that we do know you did the voice over there because we saw you filming it.
Right.
So, but yeah, that was fun. That was fun. I just wanted to share that. And it came up with some of the questions and comments, which I want to get back to here so we can move us along. But what do we got here? We got the Slankards again, who were on Light Fighting season 12. I'm a singer. When I used to sing a lot, I had to take care of my voice. What do you do to take care of your voice? That's actually one of my questions, Brian. It says, let me see here. Your narration is known for its incredible energy. How do you keep your vocal wattage so high during a recording session? Do you have a specific holiday tea or a secret routine to keep it light fight ready?
That's a good question. I can't say that I do anything, you know, professionally, you know, important. Yeah, that's
that helps.
That's a good choice. But I have these lozenges I use that are kind of an apple that are supposed to help your throat. I used to use something called throat coat or something. It was a spray. It sounds horrible. But when I'm in those sessions, because it's so screechy and at the top of my range, there is a hot tea, there is water everywhere. And it's like, I'm getting older. So it's like listening to, your favorite singer who can't really hit the high notes anymore. So it's getting a little more difficult. I hear some of these back, the early ones, and I go, oh my gosh. I
have I forget the brand. I have a coworker who lives in Tennessee and he plays guitar and he goes to, he knows a lot of the singers in Nashville and sometimes gets to go perform. And I had a sore throat one time when we were up at our offices in New Jersey, and he gave me this tea.
Yeah,
it was tea bag. It was an orange flavor, and it was a specific brand. He says all the singers use this. I wish I remember what it was.
Yeah, there was a throat tea. I maybe I'm getting my names confused about throat coat because that was the brand of something, but there was also a licoricey spray. But the other thing that I've seen, my kids are I have twin sons who are 31. They're in New York trying to be on Broadway, and they do shows and the musicals and they sing as well. And my wife and I help with this college audition coach, and all the students who are trying to get into colleges that, teach musical theater, they're all walking around with these, what are called nebulizers. And I guess they're sort of like a humidifier in the palm of your hand. So I was just yesterday, I was like, I should probably get one of those because I sing at church and I use my voice in different ways. But yeah, I was plagued a couple of seasons by a cold during the sessions, and it was absolute.
That's got to be tough.
It was.
In fact, do you actually do like before you go into a session? Do you do any of the like me? Do you do any of that stuff?
I should, but I don't.
But there was a good follow-up question. This was interesting, and I didn't actually think of this when we all think we sound different or look different on TV, and the Slankards asked the same thing. He said when he was on Light Fight season 12, he thought his voice sounded redneck because he is in Oklahoma. Bro, yeah. He goes, I mean, when you hear your voice, do I really sound like that? What do you think of your own voice?
Well, I do so many different kinds of characters and voices and things that the only thing I'm self-aware of is I have ever so slight lisp, and that kind of is something I fight. And then when I hear it back, I guess I do feel like, yeah, that's me. There's nothing really too surprising. But some people really, especially when the first time or they hear their voice back, it's alarming. It's so.
Yeah, I don't think I sound. Although now that I've been doing this little YouTube thing for almost a year now, and you kind of start saying, "Oh, okay, I do sound like that," and you don't sound as weird.
I have a friend who is convinced that it's never me that she's hearing. When she hears any of my work, she goes, "That's not you." And I go, okay.
That was a good question. Thank you, Robert and Lori, for asking that. Just somebody else saying hi. Giatano's joining us. Giatano is a regular. He comes to the show occasionally, but there's another YouTube show called Christmas on Crestline. He's one of the people who inspired me to do a YouTube show about Christmas all year long. His name's Charlie Byers. Giatano's regular on there, and he is actually an alternate for Light Fight. He hasn't made it quite on yet, but yeah. The singer from Blues Traveler would gargle with some sort of hot sauce mixture to clear his throat. Sounds crazy.
Yeah, mucus is the enemy, right? So
yeah. All right, get your comments in, folks. We're going to couple more things here and we'll get wrapped up. But a great question so far. We're having a lot of fun. I hope Brian's having fun. He's sounding good. He's looking good. You got most of my questions. I got a couple from you here, but you mentioned it while we're waiting some more comments to final in. You mentioned your children. You used to decorate. You mentioned that you play drums and play music and do all kinds of stuff. I got a fun video for you. I hope you don't mind me playing. I kind of put a montage together of why I think Brian Fairlee is the perfect guy who was meant. Brian Fair. I said fine now. That's why you have takes, right? That's why Max makes you do it 3 times. Brian Fairlee. It is the right voice for the Great Christmas Life, because you are Christmas spirit and heart. Look at your shirt, look at your hat. Look at your decorations back there. Look at all the work you've done on Light Fight since 2014 and Fright Fight. But I did not know you were a musician, so I'm going to play one more major video I have.
No.
I hope you like it.
Okay.
You might recognize it after you see it, but I've kind of put a bunch of things together, and it is 2.5 minutes. I edited it down, but it'll get your voice ready because I'm still going to get you to do the famous line before we get out of here.
What have you done?
But I really like this little video put together. I like things that you did. It's one of my favorite Christmas songs too. But check this out. Get your comments and questions in. Hit the like, hit subscribe, share the video, follow, watch it back later. But check this out. This is why Brian is a Christmas guy at heart like us, and why he's perfect for the voice of the Great Christmas Light Fight. Check this out and see you in about 2 minutes and 25 seconds.
And here's the thing. What time of year is it? Have you ever seen 3 Jews singing Christmas songs? Because you're about to. You better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. Don't cover your ears. Santa Claus is coming to town. He's making a list, he's checking it twice. He's gonna find out who's naughty and nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. He sees you when you're sleeping. He needs when you're awake. He knows when you've been bad or good. Better be good for goodness sake. Better be good for goodness. You better watch out, you better not cry. You better not cry, I'll tell you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to town. Santa Claus is coming to
Oh
I
my!
thought that was fun. Do you remember those YouTube videos? I was looking, trying to find some, I like to prep for my guests. And I found those very last minute. And I was like, oh, that would be fun to somehow take some of them to show you're a Christmas guy at heart.
Yeah, the tradition in the Fairlee home is to take those sleigh bells and start at the boys' bedrooms and shake them really hard and then run through the house until they're very quiet. That's why you see me doing this. And then we go bursting in and say, "Did you hear that?" And
they were fun. I mean, I have 2 children, and we've always done, I'll call them goofy things like that, or pretend you're Santa Claus. And I thought it was great. And I loved your Christmas lights. Your Christmas lights,
minimalist.
You get an A for effort. You get an A for effort. All right, folks, we are getting close to wrapping things up here. Get your final comments and questions in. Brian, it's been so fun today. Just a couple other things. Here's a little fun one. High wattage rapid fire round. So 5 quick questions of just whatever comes to your mind first thing without thinking about it. So the first one is bulb battle. Classic warm white lights are multicolored. Which one makes the display a winner in your book?
Multicolor.
Multicolor. All right. Vocal fuel. Eggnog. Is it a vocal soothing, Yay or sticky sweet nay?
That's a big no.
Not even with rum in it?
With rum in it. It would just coat your throat and make you cough.
The soundtrack. Besides the show, what is the one holiday movie or special you have to watch every single year?
Elf.
Elf. I just told you we went and saw Elf the musical.
Yeah.
Our reindeer name. If Santa added a 10th reindeer to the team and asked you to voice it, what would that reindeer's name be and what would he sound like?
Oh, gee. Gas bag. He would sound like Brian Fartley, I think, is what it was.
Brian Fartley. See, that's good. And then finally, series summary. In just one word, describe the feeling you get when you see a family finally win the Light Fight trophy.
Redemption.
Why redemption?
I don't know.
I know. I caught you off guard with those. I was putting this together. I was like, what would be some kind of fun kind of thing here? I
just think that the effort they put into it, it's, you know, it's harder for the one to see the ones who don't win, because you think originally I thought, well, maybe they're like, you know, the RuPaul's Drag Race, where they actually film everyone winning, and then you don't know it until the airing who actually won. But I don't think that's the case.
Well, I got two fun facts, trivia things for you. You mentioned RuPaul's Drag Race. Did you know that in season 10, Tanya went to a house in Las Vegas? Chanel, the Watkins family, they were on, someone who does drag, they were on RuPaul's Drag Race. And they won the Great Christmas Light Fight.
Yeah.
And then two, there is a little, so there's been a lot of people on Light Fight who now do this as a living. They make products and sell them to the lighting community. And there's a bunch that mostly did not win the show. So they make fun of that. They're okay with that. They're happy to be on the show, but they did come out with this. One of the vendors made this loser trophy in the style of Light Fight.
Oh my gosh.
The battery's dead. It does light up, but
wow.
But they gave me one, even though I had the real one. So anyway, that was a fun fact.
Wow.
All right. The last couple things I have is we did that about your voice already. Oh, I got one. When you're in the booth, whether it's at your house or at home, and you see a massive display, 500,000 lights or whatever, spent a lot of those on the show. Does your delivery change to match that scale?
Well, I suppose it. No, I don't think so, because it's all very amped up. But I will say I react, because this is the first time that I will be seeing, you know, when I see they run down the super teaser, it's the first time I'm seeing that season or that episode's offerings. And I'm always so blown away. Like, it is incredible. But something people don't understand is I don't see the show until everyone else sees the show. So that's why I am a fan and I do watch it.
Even though it's like I told you before, it's on the shelf and ready by mid-February. It's like if they gave pre-screens, you could. But you did hit on one thing. It kind of probably ties in one of my last questions here, which I should have asked earlier, but just the way we went off script is because there is no script. So I talked about like a big display, but do you have a favorite moment that you can remember over the years where an image you saw actually gave you chills in the booth? The voicing over?
And I, you know, not to take anything away. There were a couple, but like when the woman, and I don't know if this was in the promos or not, but when the woman lit her house on fire in one of her seasons.
She was out of Texas. I'm drawing a blank on the name right now, but it was under Michael Maloney, so it would have been she wasn't in season 1, she was season 2 out of Texas. And how could you imagine you finally get to be on a show like this and then you're in the middle of it
and the fire department.
Liz Simmons was her name, the Simmons family.
And just, you know, the episodes that during COVID, when there were no crowds and we were still able to put the show out there and give people a little joy, you know, we lived through that. That was a crazy time.
Yeah, and we were at the very end of COVID, but we were one of the families that didn't have large crowds, so it's you know, there's advantages and disadvantages to that, but it definitely does amp up the vibe.
Sure.
No, I appreciate you sharing that. All right, the last couple things, Brian, is you know, you're famous for this. Let me show this real quick.
Because the Great Christmas Light Fight All-Stars Special is on.
Oh, what
or
do I-
this
The
version.
Great Christmas Light Fight is on!
So you use your line, but sometimes you throw in the neighborhoods, the all stars, the whatever. It's kind of become a fun fact for me. And I actually go to these minis we're talking about, and I do classes or I do my show where I share fun facts. So you are a card in one of my presentations where I don't have your picture up yet. It's a big question mark, and it says, "Who's the voice of the great?" So you're in my presentations. I'm trying to preach the word.
Such a flattering picture.
You have that there. That's cool. And then
all into those nose holes.
And then you have
Great Christmas Light Fight is on.
We have it there, record it, and I think it's fun. I think it's a classic line. I think it's going to stay around. I think a lot of people, when you say that line, they know it from the show, especially if they're a fan.
Well, the interesting thing is, in the 74 episodes that I've done, I thought, well, I'll read it once and, they'll pick something they like and they'll just use it for all the episodes. No. I have to read it for every single episode. So, and like I said, I read them 3 in a row and then they pick one, or they'll say, try again. So yeah, I'm reading it thousands of times. It's crazy.
I know you think they would save it, but can I ask you to do a live version for us if you're up for it? And you can do it 3 times if you want to get it right.
Yeah, let me see. I mean, God knows what'll come out. And I also, the camera has just a junky little microphone. So as soon as I start shouting, it might just, go silent. I don't know what's going to happen. But so yeah, here we go. Because the Great Christmas Light Fight is on.
See, I was in it one take. One take was perfect.
Okay,
it was
yeah.
perfect.
They'll say, okay, save your voice. Save your voice. We got it. But yeah.
I still can't believe you have to do it 3 times, but it's one of my favorite lines. I use it in the intro of my show here. I talk about it in my presentations. I think it's one of the things you'll be known for down the road, especially in at least the lighting community. We do hope the show continues. None of us have control of that except to watch it and support it. And have ABC pick it up.
My next hat from my children is because the Great Christmas.
That's pretty cool that your children gave you that. So,
oh, is it? I wore it to my agency Christmas party this year, and nobody stopped to talk to me. I don't know why.
They didn't even get it with the hat on, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what's funny? Not funny. It's kind of sad. So the show's been on since 2013, and I've talked about this. And even the year we aired, we get thousands of people that come to our display, and I'm always out there mingling with them. And a lot of times I'll say, "How did you know about our display?" Because especially if you're in the show, one of the things that happens on the show is you might be big with your local surrounding cities, but then once you're on the show, you start getting people from farther cities out.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is there's been a lot of people I've talked to and said, "How did you hear about the show? Did you see us on Light Fight?" They're like, "What's that?"
Oh my goodness.
They've never heard of the show. It's really ironic how long it's been on. It's been on a major network, and just a lot of people have not heard about it.
I talk to people all the time. And they say, "Oh, you do voiceover. What have I heard you on?" And I'll say, "Well, I do this show every year. It's Great Christmas Light Fight." They're like, "Yeah, what is that?" So yeah, it's hard to even get my family to watch the show. So I don't know.
I still enjoy it, and I'm looking forward. I'm hoping you get The Voice season 14. I hope some of the people that joined tonight. Let's check on some of the final comments, and I'll get you on your way. I didn't even eat dinner myself here, and it's almost 9:00.
Oh,
I told my wife it would be a long one. It's been a fun one. I'm hoping you're enjoying it. But let's get these final comments in. See who's still left here. Monty liked your live redo of it. I think it turned out great with one take. I'm not sure what this means by Giatano Brian can play, unless he's talking about your voices here. I don't know if he's talking about me or you. There's too many Brians on here.
Yeah. I grew up with 5 in my small town school.
We got Bill again from season 12. He's like, "Oh, the loser trophy." By the way, another fun fact on this. The person who made this was James Hohense from Boscoyo Studios. He was on Light Fight out of Louisiana. I forget what season it was, but he's the one that made these, and he doesn't make them or sell them. You kind of have to be in the know to get one, but Anyway,
you'd think that the light would sporadically go on and off just to kind of.
Well, it does. It has a battery, but my battery's dead. It can change colors, just like a fun fact about the Light Fight trophy. There's a button on it, press.
Does it stay on or does it frizz?
Yeah, you can press it so it stays on. You can pick different colors or you can have it rotate. But a fun fact, and I'm not going to do it because I don't remember where the button is. The real Light Fight trophy does have a so when you turn it on, let me.
Oh, it's got functionality, you were telling me.
In the bottom, there's a control board, almost like a Raspberry Pi. I don't know what it is. And there's a button you can push that allows it to do different multifunction stuff. So a lot of people don't know that.
Different
mode.
People
don't know that.
As it should, honestly.
Yeah, I don't like that it blinks. I like on. But we got that. Okay, who else we got? Oh, we got Joseph Gonzalez joining us. He's a regular watcher. A fun story here. I don't know if you're in any groups, Brian, for your craft where there's Facebook groups for Christmas decorating and collecting blow molds or whatever, pixels or whatever you are. Joe's in one of the blow mold groups. And one day out of the blue, I see a post in the group because I've been a regular in there and I've been on the show. And he called out me and two other big blow mold collectors that he saw on the show or in the post that inspired him. And in a year, you should see the collection of blow molds he's put together because he was inspired. So that's one of the things I like to do on the show. I get a lot of people emailing me, messaging me, meeting, asking me questions, advice. And I'm really glad that Christmas lights inspired somebody to do something, a hobby or something. So I think that's fun.
For sure.
Slankards had the first loser trophy. Oh yeah, somebody made them a loser trophy. It's not a loser; it's a participation award. I don't know. Nobody's a loser if you get on the show, as we know.
There was a question about the longest session I've ever had. I would say that most sessions don't go longer than 4 hours, but a 4-hour session can be a lot.
Trying to look for that there. Sometimes I miss these. I don't have an assistant helping me with questions, but I try to miss them. I miss some of them.
As far as Christmas Light Fight goes, we record 3 days, a week apart, and we do 2 episodes per session, and it usually takes a little over an hour per 2. So it's a 3-hour job.
Okay, so it's actually, I'll use the word shorter than I thought it would be.
Yeah, and I will absolutely 100% verify that the winner of the Great Christmas Light Fight makes a lot more money than I do.
I didn't even go into asking you what a voiceover session makes, and that's none of my business. Brown family thought this was cool. The Slankers again think this is a great interview. It really has been fun. What else do we got here? Batteries dead on the loser trophy. How fitting. Bill said he would buy that trophy if it was sold. Maybe James needs to open it up.
Well, I have to say I've been enlightened at this fan base of the show and of Christmas in general. And I love that communities get together and support each other and help proliferate the joy that this brings people.
Yeah, it's a great community. I talked about in my last episode the minis that are coming. There's a lot of them just in the first half of the year. The next one I'll be going to is called the Mini at Sea. It's a cruise. We're leaving out of Los Angeles. I'll get there a day early. Maybe we could try to connect. I don't know.
Absolutely.
Staying down by the cruise ports. But anyway, that's a fun one. And we actually do classes. We're going to build. I'm going to get my first pixels ever because I'm a traditional guy. On our cruise, besides classes, when we're at sea, we're going to build a hat, like a top hat. And it has pixels. But you program and you can make it say words or change, just like it's a light fight show on your head. So I'm going to do that. And then there's a Florida Mega Mini coming up. It's a fun. Maybe you could be a guest at one and see what it's like. I don't know. There is a SoCal Mini. There's one in it's at Garner Holt Studios. You know who Garner Holt is? Garner Holt makes a lot of the animatronics for Disney and other Universal. So there's a mini there in Redlands later this year. So anyway, all right. That was the last of the comments. If I missed yours, I apologize. I want to try to get Brian on his way. Brian, I got one more video. Hope you'll entertain me. It's not your video, but you're in it because you've inspired me. Kind of like you being an editor, and I hope you've seen some of the things I play with. I have no experts. I have all free software, and I just play around with stuff. my original videos I did on my iPhone, but I like to play around. I think it's a fun hobby. I think it's cool that you get to do this for a living besides the voiceover work.
Yeah.
For when season 13 came out and I was hyping it up, here's the hype video I made for season 13, my own video using some footage from the promos that they put on Facebook and Instagram, but also I'm friends with a lot of these people. I go and scout out who's going to be on the show before they even know they're allowed to be on the show. Yeah. And I found videos. So I put together a hype video, but you kick it off. Just check this out, and then we'll wrap it up and say goodnight for here. But I just thought you would think this is fun.
3, 2, 1, blow it up!
You better believe it's gonna be a Merry Christmas.
Wait, that's the wrong one.
I believe
this is it. But see, I'm just into myself. No, this is it. Sorry about that, folks. Check this one out.
How are we going to get this started?
The Great Christmas Light Fight is on!
You are the champions of the Great Christmas Light Fight!
You guys are the champions of the Great Christmas! You just won $50,000!
A Great Christmas Light Fight trophy if it didn't do... Hit it, Santa! Merry Christmas!
That was my little poke at trying to be an editor or a TV series, trying to be a Max Swedlow. But hey, I hope you had fun tonight. Everybody, thank you for your participation with the comments. We still got a good number of people watching for such a long interview. It's been great, Brian. I really, I hope to meet you one day, maybe in person or somehow. You know, I travel for work. Maybe something will present itself to get together. I know you would like to enjoy some cocktails, you know. Ew. Hopefully you'll have one tonight. And I'm probably going to have one too. But Brian, before I go, is there any last comments or questions you want to make? And then we'll wrap up the show.
Just thank you so much for having me on. I don't get a ton of attention, and I love what I do, and wish I could do more of it. But it is what it is, you know. As a professional auditioner, you just have to keep swinging the bat and hoping that you get something and get to share it with people. So I appreciate you having me on.
No, thanks for having you on. And like you said, I want to echo here. I think it was a great interview. The two Bryans, maybe we got something going on there. You had the Fairlee twins, you know, now we could do the Brian twins.
There you go.
Everybody, I really do appreciate you joining tonight. Hopefully you get to watch this back if you didn't get to see the whole thing. Follow Brian on his voiceover page or on his personal site. Look him up on brianfairlee.com. Ask him questions. I'm sure he'll answer you. If you have something relevant, he'd be more than glad to have you. And we really do thank you for joining the Librarian tonight. I'm Brian Michael, your librarian, your Great Christmas Light Fight resource. And with that, we are going to play the outro and end the stream. You'll get to rewatch the little fun video I made for Brian. And Brian, it's up to you if you want to hang around when this ends, catch up with you, and then we'll close it tonight. Everybody, have a good night. Stay safe in the snowstorms. Share, like, subscribe, and thank you for joining Brian and I tonight. Have a good night from the Librarian.
Your Christmas lights inspire. Your Christmas lights delight. I am the voice behind the mic. I set the mood. I bring the hype. I'm behind the scenes. That's right. Why, yes, I'm the voice of the great Christmas light
The Great Christmas Light Fight is on!